Hey, man.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I needed the reassurance. Have you ever heard of... Stop looking at me like that. Have you ever heard of...
Alex, back me up on that. Was I looking at him a certain way?
No.
Oh,
That's right.
my gosh. You guys are gaslighting me right now. You planned this before I walked in. You're like, let's gaslight Tim today.
Okay, but for real, dude, I'm not. This is one of those days where you came in here and you're like, you're in a mood. And you just...
You shook up my Celsius. You took my Celsius and you shook it up. And you handed it back to me.
What are
said
you
should open
talking
that.
about?
Oh, my gosh.
You walked in here and immediately you were like, you're in a mood. And I was like, I'm not.
It was the way you said hello to me.
But then when you go, you're in a mood. I wasn't.
And
now I am.
Defensive. Now you're on your heels.
But then I go, then we start I was like, okay, all right, let's put it all behind us.
What you came in with this interview?
And then you go, hey man, I go, hey,
look.
I'm happy to be here. And you go, and then you go, oh, I'm glad you said that. I was like, uh-huh. And then you go, why are you looking at me like that?
Anyways, whatever. Have you ever heard of crack?
Should we do like couples counseling together? Should we?
That'd be funny.
Can we do that as a bit?
That would be fun. Yeah, we should.
We should get a counselor. We should.
Actually, my brother does need some group hours. So if the three of us.
Oh yeah, I forget that your brothers are.
Hours.
And that made me trust counselors less. Because your brother is.
He doesn't
sorry, Terry. I'm sure he's qualified and competent.
I mean, no, he's not. Not yet. Literally, right now, he's not qualified.
Your brother.
he's finishing up his master's. He's got 3 weeks left in his program, and then he'll apply for his license.
Your brother Tim too.
That's what they named him. You're right. Tim.
So, we should. I was saying we should like set up like a couples therapy for like a virtual with a counselor. BetterHelp. We should do a BetterHelp episode.
Got an idea.
I think this has actual legs.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know?
Well, should we start over? Okay,
Sure.
Fine, whatever. Hey, man, have you ever heard of? We're leaving.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh my gosh!
Have I ever heard of what?
Have you ever heard of crackers with attitude?
What?
Have you ever heard of crackers with attitude?
That's what I thought you said. Crackers?
Crackers with attitude. CWA. Crackers. It's CRACKAS. Crackers with attitude.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it? Speaking of decrepit and all, I was talking to my parents the other day, and
still had systems in place of like oversight at least.
I mean, they had oversight. They had the chief cracker watching them.
And listen, I'm not trying to be pro CIA over here, but we are trying to be pro smoking. Things I learned last night. No.
Here, let me show you the crackers with attitude. You tell me if you can figure out.
I know the reference.
So here's one of them.
Heck yeah, dude.
This is Kane Gamble.
Well, hold on. First of all, he looks like a young penguin villain from Batman. Do they call themselves this, or is this like everyone started calling him that?
I know he goes by the name Kraka, and he started the.
And then there's another person who's I'm with.
Yeah, and so this other guy's name is Justin Liverman, and he goes by default, but it's D3F4.
Obviously, yeah.
LT default,
which is a pretty good forum username for 2007.
It is a cool forum username.
Okay.
Any guesses what these guys do?
I think that they try to do rap. Obviously, is what it feels like. But I think but the way that he looks like this. Based on the facial expression, he looks like this feels like a kind of story where it's like they hacked SoundCloud or something. Like these are, I want to think they're nerds.
You want to think they're nerds?
Because I think that here's what I think.
This guy's too hot to be a nerd.
Okay. So this kid looks like the loner loser kid. And sorry to this guy for saying that about him. I don't know a lot yet. But then the other guy, go back, just seems like the older kid. He's like probably 3 or 4 years older than him in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
Who just like, he was 11, you were 7 years old.
Yeah.
And then you became
somehow became
sibling
friends.
Type relationship.
Yeah.
And then he wants to seem cool.
Mm-hmm.
He desperately wants people to think he's cool.
I think he's cool.
He's always drinking Mountain Dew in a Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he drives a
does give that
Mustang,
vibe.
and he does the whole thing. He doesn't know how to drive it. You know when they're driving and you can hear it be like, yeah. And it's like, you don't know what you're doing with this vehicle.
Yeah.
And so that's the vibe he gives. Other kid gives a vibe that he's a couple of years younger and is just like a loser.
Yeah. So
And
you're thinking this is like he took him under his wing situation.
Yeah, but then he grew up to be a mastermind of some sort, and the other guy is just a dumb dude.
Just along for the ride accidentally.
You know what I'm
Trying to
saying?
be like the Big Brothers.
This
program.
guy looks like his name is Dustin.
Yeah.
And the other guy looks like his name is Maximilian.
Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah.
I feel like
That
I'm painting
works.
a pretty good picture.
That
here.
works pretty well, actually. I do think you've kind of got their personas figured out.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think the best place to start, Justin comes into this story a lot earlier than Kane does. Again, I'll show you. Justin is this one.
Yeah, okay. So I straight up nailed it.
Justin is the Mustang guy.
I said his name was Dustin.
That's pretty crazy.
And then Maximilian, and this guy goes by Kane.
Yeah, that's his actual legal first name. He goes by Kraka, but his legal first name is Kane.
Which is cooler.
It's cool. It's way cooler than Kraka.
Well, I guess what year is it? Because that also depends.
Like the 2010s.
Kraka could have been cool then.
Potentially, depending on where you're at.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start with Justin. Justin is an interesting guy. So Justin, he grew up an athlete, was really into sports, played a lot of sports. And then in like, I don't know exact dates for what age he was here. I'm assuming like late middle school. He got really into RuneScape, and he was playing RuneScape one night, and he got in a disagreement with someone on RuneScape. I don't know what the content of the disagreement was.
You're not joking?
I'm dead serious. I don't know if this was like a trade that didn't go well or something in PvP. I don't know what happened.
Wait a second.
But
okay, I think I know the story now.
I don't know if you know this story because this is a side tangent. Like this is kind of like a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is just a bit of the story. What do you think I'm talking about?
I don't know if you're talking about the Falador Massacre that happened.
No. I have no idea what that is.
So the Falador Massacre in RuneScape was a glitch in the program where the wilderness is where you can do PvP and killing people. And then there was a weird glitch where suddenly one day the whole map was available to do that.
Oh, interesting.
And so places that were usually not, PvP.
Yeah.
So, a couple high-level players started just killing everybody. So they call it the Falador Massacre.
That's hilarious.
And then there was several times in the game, RuneScape, like there's been Falador is an interesting place in RuneScape, like on the map, because it's a free world location, meaning you can go there even if you don't pay for the membership.
Yeah.
And it is like the protest location.
Oh,
so like if things happen in the game, new updates, the economy gets kind of weird in the game.
You go there and you protest.
Straight up, like players
devs
will
watch your protest and
yes.
be like, okay, this is what they think of the change.
No, they're not invited to protest. It's just like
they watch.
Oh yeah.
Moderate. No, it's not a dev like sanction. This is what.
Yeah. But they see it happen and they go, oh, hey, everyone's in World 2, filling up the town square in Falador.
They're egging the prime minister's house over there.
Yeah.
No, this is not that event. This is just a small squabble between him and another user.
Okay.
And the other user threatens to hack him. And he's like, you're not going to hack me. And so like they're arguing.
That I nailed it. I nailed it based on their images. That I'm like, okay, but that kid ended up being like a super genius type kid who can just hack into Justin's account. This is just Justin.
This is just Justin.
Okay.
And so this random guy, he doesn't know.
Justin's username on RuneScape default?
Yeah, it's default. That's his username everywhere.
Yeah, it's his default username.
And so he's playing, and this guy does hack his computer. And
what was your password
shuts it down.
when you were that age?
Okay, you want to know my password?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So embarrassing.
What was your password, dude? Because I'll tell you mine.
I can tell you what I can tell you exactly what I changed it because it was very frustrating. So my password, and this is not a joke. This is from like middle school. I mean, this was from as soon as I got on the internet, like late grade school to sometime late high school. Straight up, it was Tim is hot.
Who is Timus?
And
who's Timus?
And the reason I had to change it is because we were at like a church event at someone's house.
Yeah.
And my dad thought it was hilarious. He was telling everybody at this event. I was like, Dad, you can't tell everybody my password. Now I got to come up with something new that's a good
What are they going to log
password.
into your Club Penguin?
Dad, you can't tell everyone my password.
So when I was volunteering, well, I was working at the church, I guess. Someone was signing up to volunteer is what I meant to say. At the church, that we had like a sign up sheet.
Yeah.
This was at Sunshine.
Yeah.
And someone, we asked for their email. They just write it down. Someone's email was B words love country. I love the idea of signing up for volunteering in the kids ministry with,
so
BWOR.
That's hilarious.
Also, we're adults, and I just said B words. Whatever, dude.
So embarrassing.
It is. Doesn't that suck? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you my password when I was a kid. I just wanted to know yours.
For real, what was yours?
Don't worry about it.
Do you remember?
I do remember it. No.
It was also Tim is hot.
It was. And I don't know. There was a while in like 2007, I didn't know what a G was, Mm-hmm. And so like my password on certain things was like G unit. Oh, whatever that means.
Nice.
And like, I need you to find a picture of me in middle school. Where it's like, dude, this guy was G unit.
That's so
it's like using unit for like I was like, I'm a unit. Like, I think it was a football coach called me a unit.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to call me fat.
Yeah, it's stuck.
And so they were like, yeah, he's a unit.
You know what my football coaches called me? They called me stone hands because I couldn't catch. So it's like you got rocks for hands. And it's stuck all 4 years of high school. Yeah. Stone hands.
Yeah. And short.
They never call you short. They call me 5'8". Or they call me 5'10". They said you're 5'10".
Yeah. Hey, you're 5'10".
Anyways, yeah, leave your passwords below in the comments.
Everyone comment what your passwords are. I think the auto system on YouTube is gonna be like, no.
These are all passwords.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
certainly it won't let you comment your password, will it? Isn't there like a safeguard?
I don't see a reason why I want it. I mean, maybe on YouTube there might be a thing that'll be like, hey, that's your YouTube password. You're literally on YouTube and you just type maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
But like it's a completely different form.
I don't know. I feel like we should try it.
So I wouldn't auth it. Like I don't.
I feel like you should just
try it.
Try it.
Type your password, hit enter, see what happens.
I'm sick of paying for you, especially if you have YouTube Premium. You should try it.
That's funny. Yeah, I've never heard of any system.
Hey, do you want to support us on Patreon and then join the Discord and give us your Netflix password? Like, because you could support us in other ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could.
Yeah, this is my profile. That's my dad's profile. And those are some podcasters I listen to. And then that's my brother.
Hey, speaking of profiles.
What?
Why don't you tell the lovely people what you did? Where you text me one time and you were like, hey, why are you still using our Hulu?
What are you talking about?
Because you were like, it's pretty bold of you to create your own, because me and Reagan have our own profiles. And he goes, it's pretty bold of you and Reagan both to create profiles on my Hulu. Listener, you should know.
It was
my Hulu. And Tim has a profile because I'm kind.
I don't anymore. Well, I might still on yours, but like I had a Hulu. I stopped paying for a Hulu. You gave me your Hulu password to log in for something.
Because I'm nice.
I forgot that I did that. and
then you were like,
oh, it's my Hulu.
Like, oh, Jared and Reagan are starting to take up our Hulu.
That's pretty funny.
And then there's a profile there called Mom and Dad because I'm also, my parents are decrepit and old, so I gotta take care of them now, dude. They're at the age where it's like they're, what I'm talking about? What?
Speaking of decrepit and old, I was talking to my parents the other day, and
no context. No context to that. Put that in the intro. Speaking of decrepit and old, I was talking to my parents the other day.
Literally, they're like, you're almost 32 years old, and I was like, yeah, I'm halfway dead. But my parents are literally exactly 30 years older than me.
Yeah.
And so they were
like, but I'm not dead.
They were like, thanks.
And you're like, you're 4 more years.
I was like, yeah, you guys haven't ate as many Doritos as me, I guess.
Yeah.
You'll make it a little while longer.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to
What
die.
age, and we're on a bit of a tangent right now, so I'm fine asking this. What age are you supposed to, like, when you go out to dinner with your parents?
Yeah.
What age are you supposed to start, like, taking care of the bill?
Oh, I mean, 1975.
What?
It's not. It's not possible anymore.
You're saying that, like,
that's gone. That's gone.
because I remember when I was a kid, Grandma would come to lunch with us, and like, Grandma never paid.
Yeah.
And she was always just part of, like, so, like, what is there, like, a
I mean,
threshold?
I think if your parents are retired, you probably should.
Okay, that's good. Like
Probably,
when they come out to visit us, I usually try to pay as much as I can.
Yeah.
But then then my dad still pays it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other times it's kind of like, hey, I'm looking at Dad and I'm like, what's the situation here?
I think it's highly contextual. Like I do.
Yeah.
I do think it is like what situation are you in? What situation?
I'm always
are your parents
monitoring
in?
to see who orders more. Then I go, I think you're gonna pay if you ordered all that.
like that one guy in college who'd be like, I forgot my wallet, and then he'd buy everything on the menu.
Yeah, Kyle Scruggs. Like that one guy in college. Why are we protecting his honor? Why are we protecting him?
He would do that. He would order so
much. Yeah, it was
like,
crazy.
I forgot my wallet. He did it every time, every single time.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't think you have a wallet. Oh shoot! Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
right.
I know you don't.
Yeah.
No, so Justin's played RuneScape.
Yeah.
And this guy does hack his computer and just like shuts it down, turns back on, blue screen. And this moment was like a revelation for him. He's like, wait, you can do that? And so he was like, hold on. And so he also, he's kind of an interesting guy because he was a big athlete.
Yeah.
But he was also quite a bit of a nerd. And so he played like Halo and Super Smash Bros.
A lot of them are
athletes.
Yeah.
Interesting. He played Super Smash Brothers and Halo like competitively.
I mean, like think about Dustin. Clifton.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
A nerd.
Yeah, pretty fit though.
Pretty fit. Pretty. I'll say it. Kind of hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's our friend. We can objectify him.
We can objectify him. We know him.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he's playing these tournaments.
Distracted Tim got thinking about Dustin's shoulders. Oh my gosh. He's like, yeah, we can objectify. Curly hair.
Oh. Get out of here. He's played Halo and Super Smash Bros.
This is my wife's best friend's husband. Also our friend, but like, that's the connection. Yeah.
So Super Smash Bros, Halo competitively, like goes to tournaments, plays these games.
That's what I'm saying.
Big gamer. And he's like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so he starts like online learning how to hack these games to like cheat in the game to win. Not because he's like, oh, it'll make me better at the game, but because he's like, I want to know what I can do.
Sure.
And so it's like a curiosity, like what am I capable of sort of thing. And so he starts playing around, hacking video games, like simple things like that.
Yeah.
And he's going down the rabbit hole. Long story short, he goes through, does all these little small hacks on games and things, and somehow finds himself on like and this is like 2007, 2008. He finds himself on like the official Anonymous forum. And he's like, oh, this is interesting because Anonymous, and I've never heard this. There's a podcast interview where he kind of goes through this whole grand story we're going to tell today.
Oh.
And I've never known this before, but I guess Anonymous had this forum and it was an invite-only forum. You had to like show you were hacking in the world and then you would get invited.
Right.
But Anonymous was an interesting place because there was obviously the hackers.
Which is like what Kill Tony is too. You have to show that you're hacky in the world. And then you get invited.
And then you get let in.
Yeah.
these forums were interesting, and I never knew this, but there were so many people that were trying to get in it, whether they were like the press or the FBI.
Oh yeah, of course. Or the FBI. Yeah, I think they had a little bit of interest. Yeah,
or just people who were just curious, and so they would do things to get invites and get in there. And so there was a lot of people like quote unquote prying eyes in there. And so what they did as like a security measure, and this is insane.
You had to hack your way into the forum.
Well, no, the forum.
Pretty cool.
The forum was just covered in like disgusting stuff, like 4chan level, like crazy gore, like crazy, like explicit images, just to like get it to where people would open it and be like, and like leave. And then you'd have to like, and then you'd have to like sift through like layers of this just crazy stuff to find the actual hacking stuff. And so it was a weird thing that they did.
Yeah. It keeps It keeps people out. It keeps people out is why we do it. Yeah. Like they're freaking weird little sickos.
I mean,
they're
a little
freaks.
Bit. Yeah, probably
little freaky little sickos. Little sicko freaky sickos. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you like this show, we would love to see you on our Patreon. It's a great way to financially support the show. We don't make money from this. It just helps us to pay the people who do make money from this, like Alex and Robert, our editor, and maybe one day me and Tim.
Maybe one day.
But only if you join.
Only if you join. We can't
We're
get
waiting.
paid.
We can't get paid
until you pay.
We can't feed Tim's kid until you join.
He's hungry. In the arms of an angel. In Anonymous, it was interesting. He like went and did some small, low-level like operations with Anonymous, but he did not like working with them for a couple reasons. One,
the gore.
Well, one, he literally says this in the interviews. He's like, they were pretty cringe. Like they were weird about the things that they said. There was clearly like FBI. Like it was like dangerous to be involved with Anonymous because it was so big that there was so much attention.
And it was like there's some undercover agents in here for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, who are you guys gonna hack today? I'm thinking about hacking Osama bin Laden. It was 2008.
Like,
the only thing people could think about.
Hello, kids. I'm one of you with the skateboard.
I just hacked Barack Obama.
How'd you spell that with an accent?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They figured out a way to do it.
And so he does like some low level like little hacking operations there, but he doesn't like the community. He doesn't like the people. There was actually like over time he found out some of those people, and he had a feeling. But over time, he found out some of those people like ended up joining ISIS. And so it's like, it was a really weird, crazy, radical community that Anonymous was.
What would you do if like one of your friends just joined ISIS?
It's kind of like how like someone you used to know like becomes famous in some way. And you're like, yeah, I can't believe they did this. And then it's like, you're like, yeah, I can't believe they joined ISIS.
You're like, yeah, I knew him. Or like, and it sucks whenever someone brings somebody up and they go, do you remember Joel?
Yeah.
And you're like which Joel?
Which one?
Yeah. Like, the one he lived like the floor above us and he had that room all the way down. You do the whole process of remembering Joel.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I remember Joel. Yeah. He joined ISIS. You're like, oh.
You could have just said that and then we don't have to.
Or you do the whole thing and you go, yeah, he was super nice. I loved him.
I loved that guy. He was great. Oh, you shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that because he was not super nice. He was not super great. So he leaves.
So yeah, there's like, he's in a sketchy online environment. Which this is the other thing too, man. I feel like there's at least less of those accessible on the internet. I think we've done a better job of like siloing it out.
Yeah, you can't stumble upon that stuff like you used to. You used to be able to stumble upon some pretty dark stuff.
Because I mean, like, Reddit really traffics, like it really keeps track of like where these links are going.
Yeah, you have to very intentionally go to those places.
That's what
now.
I mean.
Yeah, that's true.
In 2007, it's like you could be on a forum for a video game.
Yeah, and then
click a link and now you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
And like that does happen less. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't think what we have is better.
Yeah, I would.
It is better than that. I don't
It's
think
better
what we have.
in that
I don't think
way.
what we have is good.
It's better in that way. I think.
But it is better in those ways.
Yeah.
Because you could just stumble on that stuff.
Yeah, you would.
And so he finds himself in some weird corners of the internet.
Yeah,
is what we're saying.
Yeah, but he doesn't like Anonymous. He doesn't think that he does. He disagrees with a lot of their political positions. He thinks a lot of people involved are weird, and he knows that it's a security risk. There's a lot of agents in there, and so he leaves and he joins a different group called AnonSec, which stands for security. And so, and this is something else that I learned researching this. Like, I had always been under the assumption that Anonymous was like the group, but like Anonymous was the biggest one, and they took credit for some of the bigger hacks, but they also got credit for a ton of stuff that they didn't do.
Of course, yeah.
And what I learned from researching this is that a lot of these other ones that you haven't heard of actually have the better, more professional hackers, because they don't want to be involved with it. Like, it was too risky to be involved.
Yeah.
After a certain point. And so AnonSec was one of those, and that he joined. And with AnonSec, he did a couple interesting things. One of them, they were hacktivists.
Right.
And so they saw issues they saw in the world, and they would hack to solve those issues, or to like shine a light or do something about them. And so one of the things, really,
yeah, they wrote on your computer, "Kill Josh."
Kill Josh. Still don't know what that was about. That was actually our password for a while. I opened up Microsoft Word. I thought I was signing in.
After my dad told everyone my password was Tim is hot, I was like, I got a password you're never going to guess, buddy.
Never guess. And you ain't going to tell anyone about that.
Yeah. You can't tell me what my son's password is. Kill Josh.
Which is my other son.
K1LL.
So one of the things that they decided to target was predators.
Yeah.
And so they got on those forums and they would chat with, like, same thing To Catch a Predator would do.
Right.
But then at the moment where To Catch a Predator would invite them over, instead
they would just get their computer.
They would share images with the predator, and that was malware. And it would give them complete access to their system. They would take a copy of their system and they would just submit an anonymous report to the FBI. And he said, we got a lot of these guys arrested because we would just catch them and send them into the FBI.
Crazy.
And so they did that for a while. Another thing that they did was this, and this is crazy, but in the 2014, what is Denmark? Danish? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Alex, Danish is Denmark, right?
What?
I hate that you're both just stonewalling me right now.
Oh, the map tap guy doesn't know anything about actual places, huh?
Okay, hold on. We've been playing map tap. It's so fun. You need
to
get the app.
We've done too many tangents. You don't know where Denmark? You know where it is on a map.
Yeah, but I'm. That's what I'm saying is I'm confirming if someone's Danish, they're from Denmark, right? I'm pretty sure. I guess I can Google it. If you're gonna stonewall me, let me ask this thing that won't stonewall me. Just turn off my computer. Oh no, you locked it. Oh no,
my buttons.
Yeah, is someone from Denmark Danish? The answer is yes. I was right. I'm not dumb. I was just trying to confirm.
Is someone from Denmark Danish? Yes.
So for some reason, Denmark in 2014, and I've got some theories. That's the reason why. Because this was true of a few European countries, and my guess is that the reason this never happened is because I'm assuming legislators were just like, we have to, But before 2014 or in 2014 in Denmark, there was no law prohibiting bestiality, and so Denmark became like a hub for this. Like, people would actually travel for this, and there was like places like an underground like society of people who would do this.
Jeez.
And this group, AnonSec, thought that was really bad, and so they hacked their websites, and then they hacked all their files, and they published these files from them to kind of bring awareness that this was happening. And
that's crazy.
Later that year, Denmark passed a law to ban it. Because I think I really genuinely think legislators were just like, they didn't know this was happening.
Obviously that's illegal.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. So then they pretty quickly passed the law to ban it. So this is the kind of stuff that this guy's doing. Like, he's not he's not out here like stealing people's credit card information. He's like attacking things that he thinks are wrong and like bringing awareness to these things that are wrong, or like bringing justice in like kind of a vigilante way. Like it's not like a not legal way to bring justice, you know?
Right.
And so, and this is still Justin. While Justin is doing this, he meets Kane online. And so Kane is another hacker, and Kane's doing very similar stuff, hacktivism. Kane lives in the UK.
He looks like he talks like this. And like that's his like deep voice.
Yeah.
He's trying to do like a whole I talk like this. And you're like, you talk like this. but no when I'm on a video call with someone, you know?
Yeah. So Kane and him, Kane starts this group, Crackers with Attitude. Invites Justin to join Crackers with Attitude and their new hacking group, right?
Yeah.
And Kane's big like motivation for his group was like a kind of anti-US military, really anti-imperialism. He was very against like the war on terror and everything that happened in the Middle East during that time and after.
Right.
And so like a lot of what he was doing was broadcasting what was happening. Like that most people did not hear about or know. So he was hacking these systems to bring those things to life. And so together, the two of them, they come together, and in 2013, the Edward Snowden links happen. And this was something that really kind of turned a new leaf, I think you could say, for them, because they thought this was very hypocritical. If you don't remember, we did an episode on Snowden. He was the one who...
did we do a whole episode on Snowden?
We did, didn't we? I thought we did.
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. We might have mentioned him.
I think we did a full episode on Edward Snowden.
Sure. Which one of us remembers our episodes?
I mean, you, but I'm pretty sure. Alex, are you looking it up?
No, Alex doesn't care right now. He's doing his other job.
He's playing RuneScape. Oh, you know what? I'm mixing them up. We did Julian Assange, not Snowden. I'm mixing them up. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, so Snowden leaks, if you don't know the story, I guess, Snowden leaks all this information that confirms what was a conspiracy theory for a long time, and that was the existence of the NSA, and that the government was spying on literally everybody and just compiling the data, and then they weren't actively spying, they were compiling this data, and then they were using it if they thought you were a terrorist. And over the years, we've seen that the bar for being a terrorist has shifted, so that way they can then access your data and hack you and see everything about you.
Right.
And they thought this was really wrong because these people swam in circles where their friends aren't in federal prisons. Like they've met other hackers who have gotten caught and are serving multi-year sentences for doing the same stuff the government was doing for the same reasons. Like these people are out here like broadcasting bad things that people are doing, but they're not a part of this NSA. So what they do puts them in federal prison while these people go off scot-free and are like political heroes, you know? And
that's wrong.
What?
Yeah, because like I put flashy lights on my car and sped after somebody, and then they got out and ran, and I tackled him, and then I got charged with assault. I was doing the same thing. You're saying it as if it's like, can you believe it? Yeah, I fully can believe that.
Well, I think, yeah.
I mean, like these guys were getting arrested for doing the same thing the NSA was doing, so like that's stupid. And you're like, is it?
It's a little different. It's a little different than that because the NSA, like, there was directors of Homeland Security who were testifying before Congress under oath, saying they weren't spying on Americans. Like they were out here publicly lying about the fact that they were doing this.
That's a different thing.
And then when it comes out that they're doing this,
I'm not pro NSA. Let's be clear, okay? I'm not trying to defend the government here. I'm just saying, like, if you're like, yeah, these people got arrested and they were doing the same thing, isn't that crazy? It's like, well, no,
it is a little different. It's
because
fair.
even though they lied under oath, yeah, they still had systems in place of like, oversight at least.
I mean, they had oversight. They had the chief cracker was watching them.
That's going in the intro, right? Chief cracker.
So I mean, I think what you're saying is fair, but they were very angry about this.
Yeah, of course.
So the two of them, Justin and Kane.
Yeah.
Justin.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Cracker.
Yeah.
Default. The two of them said, we're going to hack the CIA. And so what they did was really interesting. They did a couple of things here. First thing they did is they found the let me get his name. The then director of the CIA, whose name was John Brennan, and they said, "Hey, he's the director of the CIA, so he's got a lot of like very secure systems that he's a part of, but he's also just a regular person." And so they just did a data broker lookup on him and got info on his phone number and the provider for his personal phone number, which was Verizon. And what they did, and this is crazy, they called Verizon customer support. And when they picked up, they didn't pretend to be Brennan. They pretended to be a like field tech for Verizon. And they're like, "Hey, I'm helping this customer right now, trying to access some stuff, but our systems are down. Can you help me get in? I need some information for them to be able to finish this request." And this customer support agent was like, "Yeah, what's your V number?" Which is like the Verizon agent ID number. And he, on the spot, just says a random number. And it works. They let him in. And they give him Brennan's email address.
Like, 597-2893. Lucille?
Yep.
That is me. Okay.
And so, so they let him in. And he's like, okay, what? He's like, I just need all his data to be able to access it. And so he's like, okay, here's his email. You have his phone number, obviously. Here's his PIN number for his Verizon account. And here's the last 4 of his credit card. And so he's like, perfect, that's everything I need. So they take all that data, they got all that information. And now they go to AOL, which is his email provider still in the mid-2010s. And they do like, they contact customer support. They're like, "Hey, I'm locked out of my email account. I'm trying to access it." And AOL's like, to verify, we just need the last 4 of your credit card. And he's like, "Perfect, I got it. Here you go." And he doesn't say that. That would be suspicious.
Perfect.
Perfect, I have that.
Perfect, I've got that.
Perfect, I know the last 4 of my credit card number.
Yeah.
And so they let him in. And this is his personal email. So like, theoretically, there shouldn't be a lot of...
Nothing bunt cakes.
But...
Do you remember when our newsletter was just nothing bunt cakes themed?
Yeah. It technically still is. I don't send a lot of emails, but...
Yeah.
The brand is still nothing but cakes branded.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember why we did that.
It's so funny. I think it was NBC. I think we were saying NBC stands for nothing but cakes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyways, so
his personal email.
His personal email, and through his personal email, they find out that I don't know if this was a mistake or if he was a little arrogant or ignorant. I don't know, but there was multiple official emails he was sending.
Yeah,
through his personal email.
Yeah, but it was also, and I'm not pro CIA. But like in the early 2000s, 2010s, like the email communication is still relatively new.
Yeah.
And siloing it out for like, this is business stuff. It was harder to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, he's on his Palm Pilot and he's sending emails.
Yep. And he thinks, oh yeah, it's secure, it's safe. Who
right.
knows? And so he's sending these emails, and these emails are crazy. Like he's sending information about agents with their social security numbers just from his personal AOL.
He has so many emails making fun of the fact that George W. Bush has the same name as his dad.
It's so lame that he's got his dad's
name.
name.
It's so freaking weird.
Like, dad can't come up with a better name than George.
His name is George W. Bush. W. Bush.
www. Bush.
www. Bush.
So they get all this information
and
they kind of compile that data, and then they call him on his personal phone number. And here's a thing about Kane we haven't mentioned again yet. Kane, a giant marijuana addict. High every day.
Marijuana addict. Yeah. You talk like a narc. That's crazy. Marijuana addict.
And so he's
this man is addicted to THC. You're like, okay, buddy. Freaking
this guy's addicted to THC gummies.
This guy failed dare.
So he
Big
calls
marijuana addict. It's crippling his life.
He calls Brennan high out of his mind.
He calls John Brennan,
the director of the CIA, on his personal phone number.
Okay.
And it was the two of them together. They were on like a conference call. And so they call him, just taunting him. They're like, I bet you want to know how we got your number, loser. And then they start reading off his social security number. They read him his address. They read him his email. They tell him his Verizon pin. They're like, we own you. We own you. And they said, and I don't know if this is true. Like, this is just reporting from them. But Justin actually said in that podcast interview,
we could hear him crying.
Well, he did. He said, I could hear like a tremble in his voice, like he was afraid, because he's like, who are you with? Like, how did you get access to this number?
Oh boy, am I sick. I sure do need Tim Stone's Get Well Quick Trick. And what is it? It's simply chug an entire gallon of orange juice. Wow, I forgot. And then this shirt reminded me. I'm so glad that I have this shirt as a public service announcement, a public health service to other people around me. Do your part. Get this shirt. Shop.TILLN.com.
Because he is the director of the CIA.
And also, the war on terror is happening.
Yeah. And so, this very, very likely could be ISIS, Al-Qaeda, like any national security agency that could actually literally threaten his life.
Sure.
And so it is reasonable to assume he's freaked out by this phone call. And meanwhile, they are also doing these sorts of things to the director of the of national intelligence, James Clapper. They get access to all of his information, pull a bunch of data from him. Very similar methods where they just call customer service lines and just pretend to be someone who's supposed to have access.
So they're getting all this info, just so I can understand their workflow. They're getting all this info, calling Verizon, calling the server, getting address, getting phone number, and then just getting super high and calling them. That's like part of the routine. And being like, we got you, brother. We got you, brother.
I should be clear. Kane's process is getting high and calling him.
Cracker.
Justin is not getting high. He's just on the call.
I am a
and he's like, sorry about my partner. He has a crippling marijuana addiction.
He's also just on the call. He's like, really sorry about this, by the way. What are you apologizing for, dude?
Why are you always gonna apologize?
So
just take my side for once. All I want you to do is take my side.
Again really apologize for my partner here. We will use this information against you. Yeah, we're gonna ruin your life. We can and then and then you're just the director of the CIA being like,
what is happening?
Because then there's got to be a thought too of if these idiots found it.
Yeah. Who could?
That's the bigger fear I would have.
Yeah, for sure.
They
also do the same thing to the director or the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jeh Johnson, which I had to look this up because I didn't realize his name was Jeh, J-E-H, but Jeh Johnson.
What?
Yeah, his name was Jeh Johnson.
Surely not.
Yeah, here, let me show you.
Jeh?
This is Jeh Johnson. Hold on, I'll just take a screenshot of the Google page so you can see that.
Is there an image of him?
Yeah, and I'll show you an image of him with the Google page so you can see this, that I'm not lying.
Jeh Johnson?
I did not know his name was just Jeh. I don't know if that's short for something.
Man, what do you want to name him?
She's dying. Jeh. She was going to say Jeff, but she died.
She's not dying. You had to kill his mom. She's just passing out, dude. And you're like, she's dead? Like, hey, buddy. Bring it back a couple steps.
Reel it back. Reel it in.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got stabbed at the hospital. Like, what? Who? By who?
The nurse.
By the nurse. The nurse knew something about her. The nurse had hacked her emails and found it.
One day your son is going to spy on every single American. What do you want to name him?
Yeah. And we're going to find out this is like some kind of, important name.
Yeah, we're gonna look very ignorant.
We're going to look real. Yeah.
So they hack into Judge Johnson's actual home Wi-Fi network, and they're able to access anything that's open on that network.
Yeah.
One of the things that they were able to get into was his smart TV. And so his
Hulu account. They created it. They created 2 Hulu accounts.
And it was Jared and Reagan.
Who's Kraka and Default?
No, they displayed a message on the TV, just in the middle of the TV, that just said, "I own you." And they started calling his house and being like, "Are you scared?" And like, so they were like taunting these like high-ranking
and he's like,
intelligence officials.
I just wanted to taunt somebody, and they go, "Are you scared?" And then he does like a Liam Neeson type thing where he goes, "No," and then just hangs up, and then you follow him, just walk to his car, and he just drives to the office, and it's just him loading gun after gun. We could make a good movie out of this.
And so this becomes such a big thing because, and this all happened like in the matter of like 24 hours. They hacked into all these at the same time.
Okay.
And so then the government is like, all of our like directors of our intelligence agencies are compromised. So they all put them in hiding. Like they all get moved across the country to different locations and are in safe houses with like security because they don't know who's doing this. They don't know anything about it. Meanwhile, they pull a massive database, compile 31,000 agents from different federal agencies, all of their personal data. So phone numbers, addresses, email addresses, passwords, social security numbers, and they put them in this doc and just publish it online of all these agents. And then they find all of these like personal, or maybe I shouldn't say personal, but like confidential documents.
Right.
That link these agencies to either conspiracies or weird shadow projects, or, for example, things that kind of, I don't want to say blackmail because they weren't trying to blackmail them, but like paint these leaders in a bad light.
Right.
So, for example, one of the things all these agents have what's called an SF-86 application, and that application contains like contact lists of everyone you've ever known, like all of your work history and background checks. And so in that background check, they were able for Brennan, the director of the CIA, they were able to find like his whole criminal history because he had a criminal history, and they published the director of CIA.
Which is cool, right? Isn't it cool that a lot of people involved in our government have like pretty extensive criminal history?
Yeah. And so they actually send all that information to WikiLeaks, and WikiLeaks publishes.
But if you have like too many speeding tickets and that comes back, then your boss could be like,
yeah, I don't like you. And so all this stuff's going on. Justin is getting very arrogant because he's been doing this for years now.
Yeah.
And he is successfully hacking the CIA and the FBI and all these like high-level organizations. He actually hacks into the Miami-Dade police office and just wipes their database and just deletes everything they have. He hacks into this medical school in Canada, and he just wipes the database with all their student loan information. So, which he talks about that, like he freed all those people from debt, but there's definitely paper backups. So, but it's like he's doing all these things all over the place all the time of like these hacktivist actions.
Cleared all your debt. And the bank is like,
no,
no,
we got it still.
We got him.
We still got him. And so he is getting a little arrogant. He tells this story. He was interested in this girl that one of his friends had used to date. And this is like real life. This is not hacking life. And so he goes to him and does the thing you shouldn't do. And he's like, hey, would you mind if I like ask her out?
Hey, I got your phone number and your address. You want to go out sometime? She's like, he goes, you're going. So he asks his friend, he's like, would you mind if I ask her out? And his friend's like, yeah, but like he's not actually saying yeah. Like yeah. He's like, go ahead.
So they start dating, and his friend's like mad about this. And Justin is like, to be clear, Justin has always been like super paranoid, super secure. So like he has a Wi-Fi satellite dish that he actually uses to capture Wi-Fi like the way these work, you can capture Wi-Fi signals however wide your dish can catch. So he's actually, every time he's using the internet, he's connecting straight to that dish and connecting to a Dairy Queen a mile away using their Wi-Fi.
Dude.
And then through that...
Oh, the CIA found out that they got hacked by Dairy Queen?
And so he's actually using the Dairy Queen, and then he's using a series of VPNs that he's routing through, and then he's connecting to a botnet. So like, it's like...
Yeah, it's this chain
crazy chain. Yeah, and so... he's very secure. His machine, his personal machine, every time he uses it, he shuts it down, and he's got a software on it that the second it shuts down, it encrypts the entire hard drive. And then when you turn it back on, you have to decrypt the whole hard drive. So like everything he's doing is incredibly secure.
Which would really reduce my screen time, to be honest. If every time I got to log in, I got to decrypt my phone.
Yeah, it was like a 40-minute process.
That's what I'm saying. I could really, I mean, maybe I need that, to...
And
keep me from looking at my phone all the time.
So he talks about it. He's like, I really think like three things happened. You
skipped the girlfriend part. What happened?
Yeah, so 3 things happened at once here. And so he's hanging out with that friend whose girlfriend he didn't steal, but he's dating his ex-girlfriend. And they're hanging out one night, they're playing online, like Xbox Live. And they're drinking, they're having a good time. And the news, I guess they have the news on, and the news comes on talking about the CIA hack.
Yeah.
And he says that was us, and he halfway doesn't think his friend's gonna believe him. He's also like a little tipsy and like just. He's also like no one can catch it. Like it's like a mix of things where he's like no one's gonna know, no one's gonna believe me, no one's gonna catch me, and so he says that to his friend.
Who his friend was like,
and his friend's got beef that he doesn't know about.
I can get her back.
Yeah, and so his friend puts in a report to the FBI.
Of course.
Meanwhile, I think the FBI was like tracking him at the same time.
Okay.
So they've got the confession from this guy, but the FBI was like narrowing in on him. And he says like that same week, I start to think my machine got hacked because like there was just some strange behavior. I was seeing some network requests that I didn't recognize. And so one day he comes home from work, and his life pretty much was go to work, come home, and hack. So he came home from work, turns on his machine, it starts the decryption process, and when he comes home, he notices across the street there's a black SUV just sitting across the street. Doesn't really think about it. He also
you would think that maybe the FBI would start using like a Honda, like
we all know.
They like maybe switch from the black SUV plan and like maybe start just doing a Hyundai Sonata, like maybe.
Yeah, look like a soccer mom. And he also mentioned like earlier that month, the house across the street from him got bought, and there was just these 2 guys like pretty much 24/7 were just sitting on the porch smoking, watching his house, which is maybe paranoia.
Should we work for the CIA? Is that a job?
That sounds like a
I would like to apply for the job of smoking on the front porch
all day. Just sweet tea and a cigarette. Yeah, I'm working. Sorry, when I get home, come home, I'm working. Yeah, and so
putting in double time.
You gotta pay me double for this. And so this could be paranoia, or this could be the FBI.
And listen, I'm not trying to be pro CIA over here, but we are trying to be pro smoking. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty funny how often we're talking about this. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Yeah.
Anyways,
all those kids outside the scene. CIA, am I right?
And so he walks in his house.
Actually, a pretty cool festival name.
CIA.
Scene Intelligence Agency.
Yeah. That actually does kind of work. There's a line in a Yellow Card song where he says California, but he pronounces it California because he needed the syllables for the line. So that actually like works on a couple levels. Anyways,
yeah.
So he goes in, he turns on his computer.
There's a story in the Bible where so like it really works on a bunch of different levels, and you can really when you look at the Hebrew.
He goes in his house. He turns
you
on his
read
computer.
Hebrew, right?
His computer starts decrypting his hard drive.
Yeah.
And he's like doing his thing, right? And the second it finishes decrypting, the FBI busts down his door. they come in, they raid the house, they take him, they arrest him, and so he recounts this event, and he's like, I think that they've been in my machine. They understood the architecture of it. They knew that it had to be decrypted. So
and then as soon as it was, now it's open.
Waiting. Yeah, they were waiting for it to be open. And he's like, because they didn't take it. Like because the second you unplug the power, it shuts off, it encrypts. And so he's like, he said they knew that. They came in there, they didn't take it, they plugged in, they copied the contents. And then they confiscated everything he had, including an external hard drive that contained his Bitcoin wallet, because this whole time he's been mining Bitcoin. And he was a very
what year was
early
this?
Adopter. This would have been, I think, this was like 2018, I think.
Oh, okay.
So this was pretty late, but he adopted Bitcoin at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so he's been mining. He has 1,000 Bitcoin on that, which at its peak was $42 million.
Yeah.
And so they confiscate that, and it's just like this, I'm sure, devastating.
No, not at its
watching
peak.
42.
At its peak, it's $100 million, right? If he's 1,000?
Oh, I guess, yeah, if it was, because, yeah, it did.
It did. And right now, it's in the 60s.
Crazy. So he watches that thing.
When we did our episode, it had just crossed 20.
Yeah. Well, he watched a lot of millions of dollars walk out of that room. And he also knew, like, the whole thing happens, and he knows he knows what they're going to see on there.
Right.
And so he knew, he talks in the podcast, he's like, I could have just reached over and just unplugged it, and they would have had nothing on me. But he's like, you don't know how you're going to react when you have a bunch of automatic weapons pointed at you until you have a bunch of automatic weapons pointed at you. And I just froze. And so they took me. The Secret Service was there because someone had recently defaced Donald Trump's website, and so they thought I was the person who was responsible for that. And so he's like, I wasn't, and they found out I wasn't, but like the Secret Service was there. And so he gets arrested, and here's the thing that's crazy about this.
Right.
He implicated himself on everything because, and this, he's like, this was the dumbest thing I did. And he said, because it was kind of my arrogance, and it was kind of like this like archive data thing. He said, I was under the impression that I would like to go back and watch my hacks. So I filmed all of them like on my machine. And so he's like, so I have video footage of me doing all of my hacks.
Like he was like Twitch streaming it. He's like, what's up, guys? Today we're going to get the phone number of the CIA director.
And so like,
but before we do, smash that like button. They have no idea. Yes, I'm a Verizon support person.
What should I ask him, chat? What should I ask him, chat?
Yeah, chat. Yeah, hey, there's no one logged in the chat. Stupid.
So they are able to get him on everything. They book him for 5 years. He goes to prison. Coincidentally, he goes to prison like right at the beginning of COVID. And so it's like,
so they confiscate his Bitcoin?
Yeah, they still have his Bitcoin. He keeps asking for it back. He's like, you can take whatever data you want that's like related to this. And he's like, but like, please let me have my wallet back. And they won't let him have it back. So they took millions of dollars from him, essentially.
Yeah. So the government was like, that's ours now.
Yeah, we're keeping this for sure. And so they go through the trial. He gets,
I don't like that.
He gets a lot of years he gets 5 years in prison. After a couple years, he actually, and I don't know exactly how this happened, like if he like relayed the information, but he leaked a bunch of information about how some things were happening in the prison system. And so he ends up getting solitary for that. And so he does a year in solitary during COVID. And because of COVID, solitary confinement rules like got kind of removed.
Right.
And so he spent 24/7 in solitary confinement for a year. And he said that messed me up. Obviously. So he's in prison. He was in prison for 5 years. He just recently got out. And now he's on probation. And the crazy thing about his probation is part of his probation is a 2-year ban from the internet. And so what do you do with your life? Like you can't apply for a job. Like,
oh, okay. Okay, I see. And for a second, it seemed like, what do you do?
No, but for real, like we live in a world that's so connected. Like you need internet connection to get a job. You need
and I guess when you go try to find a job, you're like, hey, can I apply? And they're like, yeah, just apply online. And he's like, I can't
do that.
And they're like,
why?
Why?
I'm banned from the internet.
Well, you could. I think honestly, this is where you go work at a hipster coffee shop. But it's like you just be like, I just don't really do the internet. And they're like, actually,
come
you
on.
want to just start right now? Because like that's really cool.
That's really sick. And so at the same time that he got raided in the UK, they raided Kraka's house.
Yeah,
and
this looked like an arrest photo.
Yeah, and Kraka is a teenager. He's still in high school. And so they get in there.
So they're like, yeah, kids being kids.
Kids are going to be kids. And it was the UK. The UK is like, honestly, it's pretty sick that you hacked the United States.
They're like, hey, dude, nice.
Nice, bro.
Nice, mate. That was pretty good.
You want a cigarette?
Well, that was Australian. Do you want a cigarette? Yeah, we do that here. No, but you can't have a beer.
Yeah, do you want a beer?
Yeah.
And so
I like that you tried a little bit. There was a little bit of, you couldn't commit to it, but you tried. You want a beer?
I did. It was a bashful.
You tried to fade it out.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And so he got a similar, like I think he did like a year in juvenile detention, and then he got a ban from the internet, a temporary ban from the internet,
which probably did him well.
Probably, yeah. He probably needed to get off the internet for a little bit. And so from what I understand, Justin is trying to rebuild his life. It looks like he's trying to get into like finances his plan, because he's like, I'm never going to find a real job again. And so what he wants to do is become a day trader. He's like, because I don't need anybody to do that. Sure. And so he's going to do that. How old is he? He's a little bit older than us, like late 20s. All right. I'm halfway dead.
Yeah, dude. The other night at my show, I was like, I did a Chick-fil-A rap a couple years ago, and someone went, It's been 10 years next year. That's wild. I said, hey, shut up.
Hey, you don't have to talk about that. Yeah. You don't have to open your mouth
No. Be quiet.
No. Yeah. So this is crazy. This was two basic, like Justin was a little bit older. He's in the early 20s.
Right.
But basically 2 high schoolers hacked the CIA and the NSA and the FBI and the Miami-Dade police office.
That's crazy.
Which is wild. And they did it mostly through social engineering, which is bananas.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, does this also like the LimeWire time? Like,
no, this was after LimeWire.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was,
I mean,
2007 when they started.
Starting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but when this all stuff happened, it was like 10
But it was like also that time where it's like we were just pirating stuff. You could just download stuff on your computer and then you get like crazy viruses. And like we would download songs. You ever make playlists for your MySpace?
Yeah.
It's like, dude. So you'd have, what did you listen to? Freaking.
It was Silverstein, The Used.
Yeah.
Like it was stuff that I thought made me look edgy. So Silverstein, The Used, Escape the Fate, Under Oath.
Right. I just listened to fiddle music. Hey, thanks for being here for this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you liked it, there's another episode about Joel Ortiz, who was a SIM swapping scammer. He got arrested and he scammed like $7 million from people. It was a really great episode. It's really fun. There's some really funny bits in that one as well. If you want next week's episode, join us on Patreon. It's available right now, and you get to be part of our Discord and hang out with us. We do monthly hangouts, and you can just use a video call where we just get to laugh together and have some fun. So please share the show. Tell somebody about it. We're having a really good time. We're going to keep growing it, and we're going to be here every week, whether you stay or not. So we hope that you stay, and we'll see you next week.